Hi, YouTube. It's Melissa here with Communicate with Angels. I am hopping on live today to share some tips with you on how to trust your angels' messages. So I go live on Facebook a lot, but I have not been live on YouTube very much. So I'm excited and hopefully that some people will hop on live today. But even if you're not live and you're watching the replay, glad that you're here. So before I go any further, I just wanted to make sure that you know that there's a really exciting opportunity next week. You can either join on Tuesday or Thursday for a free online class, and it's called How to Connect with Your Angels or Spirit Guides. I've been preparing for this for a couple months. I'm really excited to finally share it with you. It's absolutely free. You're going to learn some tips to, make that communication with your angels simple and direct. So you won't want to miss this. You're going to learn some amazing tools that you can implement into your life right away to have that trust, that security, that presence of your angels and a relationship with them. So to sign up for that, you can go to communicatewithangels.com/webinar. And I will look forward to seeing you guys there. Okay, so if you have any comments or questions, please type them in the chat. I would love to respond to you as we go. And let's dive in today to sharing with you some tips on how to trust your angels' messages. So what often happens when people are learning to connect is they come up against some stumbling blocks. Maybe they feel like they're just making it up. Maybe they feel like they don't even really know if it's angels or what that communication would be like. So they don't kind of know what they're looking for, sort of a thing. They don't know what they don't know. Maybe they start second guessing. Maybe they get a message and then they're talking themselves out of it or not trusting it, that kind of a thing. So give me a thumbs up if you relate to any of those or if you've experienced them at any time. And there are some ways to get out of this. It does take some practice. It does take learning the right tools. But I'm going to share with you 5 tips today that I think will help you to get to that place of trust instead of doubt. That's what this is all about. Oh, that rhymed. Funny. Okay. So my first tip for you guys today on trusting your angels' messages is that you want to be in balance with your feeling, thinking, and acting. So when you are flowing with energy, it will move as feel, think, act. Feel, think, act. Okay? Ashley gave a thumbs up. Yeah, you've experienced that. Doubt, right? So the feel part is your intuition, your first impressions. This is your hunches, your ideas, your impressions from your guidance. That is that pure sensitivity coming from your spiritual communication. The think is then where the logic and the organizing mind moves in. We need that part of us. That part of us gets us the resources we need to make a plan or to execute, that kind of stuff. And then act. That's where the fulfillment is. That's where we get to really enjoy the fruits of our labor, so to speak. So energy flows like this. I have an impression, I interpret it, and then I do something with it. And that could happen very, very quickly. You don't have to always know that that's happening. But when we're in the flow, you just feel like you're in the right place at the right time. When you get out of balance, you're leaning toward one of those more than the others. So maybe you're too much in the feel, where you're getting hundreds of ideas, but not really doing anything with them. Okay, so that's kind of a daydreamer. Or maybe you're too much in the think, where you're over-analyzing, you're talking yourself out of your ideas, you're telling yourself it's crazy, you made it up, who am I to do that? And then you don't act. Okay, I can raise my hand to that one. That's going to be more of my tendency. So you want to be aware of staying in that flow of only organizing or analyzing something enough to do something with it in a positive way. You don't use your intellect to talk yourself out of things. So when we're putting that in the context of connecting with your angels, it means that your mind is there to organize what you picked up, not to talk you out of even thinking that you picked up anything. I hope that makes sense. So you want to use your intellect in a constructive way, and that's the key to trusting what you're picking up. because you are getting hundreds of impressions from your angels every day, regardless. Okay, so my second tip for you guys to trust your angels' messages is to know that your job is to interpret the messages and signs from your angels, but not to prove that they were real in the first place. Because that proving vibration is just going to get you feeling stuck. Sooner or later, I really encourage my clients to, just say, you know what? If this was real, then what would I do with it? To suspend that doubt and start just interpreting, I just saw 111. What does that mean to me? Or, wow, I just heard a message to wait on the timing of this decision. Okay. My interpretation of that is I'm going to just table this for now and come back to it tomorrow. So see how your job is to interpret versus, well, why would I get 111? What does it mean? I'm going to look on Google and see, 100 different interpretations of 111 and get myself more confused. So your job is simply to interpret. And that really leads me into my third tip, is that you have inner guidance. You are just as psychic as anybody else. Maybe you haven't fine-tuned it enough or developed it as much as some others have just put in more time into it. But you are the one that interprets and has inner guidance. And so it's really important to trust what you feel rather than always having to look for outside validation or comparing yourself to other people. And this includes so-called experts, so-called psychics, because no one has your answers better than you do. Just because a psychic said something doesn't mean it's right for you. You always need to filter that through your own feelings and how it feels to you. Do you trust yourself just as much as you trust others? Do you trust yourself just as much as you trust your angels? Are you seeing your angels as a higher authority than you? They're not there to tell you what to do. They're there to guide you, to support you, to make your own decisions. When you have that level of trust in your own inner guidance, it's really going to shift things. You're going to just really feel comfortable and secure. Okay, so my fourth tip is to really feel often that you are energy. You are spirit. So when you feel this and you expand your energy often, it will just kind of feel natural to connect with other spirits, which includes your angels and your guides, and to learn how to feel the difference between a positive energy and a not so positive energy. Okay, and that comes back to interpreting how you feel inside. So I'm going to lead you guys in a quick technique here, and then I'll come back. I see some comments and questions that I will come back to as soon as we've done this. But if you're here with me live right now watching the replay, I want you to try just a quick little technique here, okay? So first of all, just rub your hands together. And then take your hands a couple of inches apart, 5 centimeters if you're on the metric system. Close your eyes for a moment here. Take a couple deep breaths. And I want you just to start to feel what you can feel between your hands. What sensations are you experiencing on the palms of your hands? What does it feel like? Now just bring your hands apart and just keep slowly expanding them apart. Just notice, can you still feel it? Can you still feel it? Can you still feel it? Okay. And then bring them back in close. Just notice if you can still feel it now. What I usually find is that when I move them back in close again, I feel it more strongly because I'm now more perceptive. I'm becoming more aware. It's always there, but now I'm perceiving it more strongly. All right, so please type in. I would love to hear, what did you feel between your hands? This is just, that beginning to feeling that you are energy and you can actually feel your aura, your energy. So you are energy, you are spirit, and so are your guidance. Green Bean X said warmness. Yeah, beautiful. Anyone else want to share? So as you become more comfortable with this and you experience it more, and it's a shame, during all this pandemic that we're not doing in-person classes as much. So hopefully we can get back to that more again really soon. But when you're more in person with other people, you start to feel like, oh, I can feel my energy. I can feel your energy. We're all energy. It really makes it real, that thing you've probably heard people say, that you are a spiritual being in a physical body, right? You can feel that you are energy. The more that you feel that, the more it's going to become a reality in your daily life, and you start to perceive energy as a thought, a picture, a feeling, a knowing, an impression of the future. You are all of those things, and this is how you start to perceive your angels' messages more closely. Nanda said, yes, the aura, chi power, yeah. LS, warmth and like ants. Funny. Ashley, I felt warmth, tingling, and a heaviness between my hands. Yeah, beautiful. Those are common things that people will experience. There's no right or wrong answer to this. But this is a great way to just start feeling it. And if you do have somebody close by, or you want to do it later with a friend, you can just put your hands over theirs and see if you can feel anything, or put your hands under theirs, which is fun little technique. Okay, so I said I was going to go back and answer the questions. So let's see what we've got here. Hello, this is the perfect timing. My dad just died. Oh, bless you. And I want to know that what I'm getting is him and authentic. Right. Okay. So yeah, I had some very psychic experiences when my father died. This was a long time ago now. It's like 2006. But I remember that at the time I could feel his voice around me very strongly. I could feel his presence. I could hear him talking to me. And then after about 2 weeks, because his death was very sudden and unexpected. He died of a heart attack. And we're like, what? He's dead? Oh my goodness. It was that kind of a shock. So it was a shock for him too. And he took a couple of weeks to kind of regroup his experiences. And in that time, I could feel him very close by. I had already had experience with communicating with souls by that point. So I was very comfortable with that. And so I think that's partly why I could perceive him so strongly. What was interesting, though, is that over time, his energy faded out. He went out to the universe with his angels. He doesn't belong around planet Earth anymore because he doesn't have a physical body. So I will feel him visit me from time to time. And especially, a few years ago when I had my son, when he was a newborn, I could feel my dad around a lot because he was wanting to meet his grandchild. But there's different times in my life where I'll feel him a lot, and then other times I don't feel it at all. And when I do feel him come around, I don't hear words. It's not that kind of a planet Earth type of communication. It's just a feeling. Oh, this energy feels familiar. That's my father. That's all I can kind of say of how I perceive it. So coming back to you, LS, I would come back to my tip number 3 today, which is you have inner guidance. Do you feel it's authentic? Then it is. I hope that helps. Because we can analyze and question all day long, but know that you are psychic, you are feeling something. Okay, if you're feeling it, you're feeling it. Why would you doubt that? But I do want to just give you a little tip in that situation is know that you don't want to keep him around. People miss their loved ones, and so they want to have them around them close even when they've passed on. That's actually not in that soul's best interest. They need to move on and regroup, or they're going to become a lost, confused soul, and we don't want that. So it's like loving somebody enough to let them go when the timing is right. Some go right away, and some stay around for a while to regroup, and then they'll move on out. But we don't want them to get stuck. So you can even share, anyone listening that's watching this too, you can even share with people who you perceive have passed on and they might still be hanging around, just to help them feel secure with that. Their angels are with them. They're actually going home. We're the ones that are away from home. They're going home. Okay, Nanda, most people saying that they can connect with angels by taking LSD or mushrooms. Is that possible? I do not do drugs, so I cannot answer that question. But I can tell you that that is not necessary at all. So I wouldn't suggest it, but I'm not going to judge anybody that does. Oh, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Oh, you're welcome. May I hug you? I want to hug a psychic. Well, if you can do that from YouTube, I guess you're pretty magic. But how can I help my dad to move on then? By just, you can even say it out loud. You can just say, you know, they see their angels as lights. So you can say, it's okay, I love you, but it's time to follow the lights. Or maybe you don't even need to do that. Maybe he's just going to do that in his own timing. That's up to you. Lashunda says, can you receive messages from your higher self? Yeah, so I wouldn't kind of use that languaging for that personally, because to me, and I know that people would have different interpretations of those words, so part of it is semantics. But to me, my higher self is just my intuition. So I have my intellect, my ego self, perhaps, that maybe gets into fear sometimes or doubt or all of that. And then I just have that part that I would call, rather than higher self, I would use the real you. The real me is the kind, loving, sharing, understanding part of me. And that part knows my life purpose. It trusts my intuition. I know myself. I know my purpose. And so it's the part of me that when I'm just relaxed, I'm trusting my inner knowing. So I wouldn't call it receiving messages. Yes, from guidance, from angels or guides are going to receive messages because they are souls outside of me. But to connect with my higher self, to me, is just that process of really relaxing and getting out of my head and just allowing the intuitive impressions to come in and just flow in. So I hope that helps, Lashinda. These are the kind of things that you'll learn in my Communicate with Your Angels online course. So that is going to be opening up for enrollment really soon. And if you want to learn more, I do encourage you guys to sign up for my free online class that's happening next week. The registration page is communicatewithangels.com/webinar. Jason says, do you have Facebook or IG? I will follow you. Yes, I do. I can post the links later. I don't want to take the time to do that right this minute. But my Facebook is communicatewithangels.com. And on Instagram, I'm MJ Kitto. I'll type that real quick because I have kind of an unusual name. That's my Instagram handle, MJ Kitto. Thank you for asking that. I'm from the southern part of India. Can you share your opinion about spiritual opinion on Hinduism? Again, that is not something I have experience with, so I would not be really serving to say anything about that. But I do respect all different spiritual traditions. I think they all have truth. One of my spirit guides is from India, so it does resonate with me. I know you probably see one of those Hindu gods behind me. Yeah, but that's all I can really say about that. Sonali, hi sweetie. Can you tell us about Ascended Masters? Oh, Ganesha, yeah, I couldn't remember the name off the top of my head, yeah. Ascended Masters. So for me in my work, I just really talk about your personal team of helpers. To me, it doesn't matter if you call them Ascended Masters, Spirit Guides, Angels, whatever. We all have a personal team, and they have been attracted to you before this lifetime because they have strengths in the areas that you've come to work on. And so there's other helpers that work with other opportunities, bigger picture, an organization, a school, a government, the planet maybe. But that's not something I kind of work with too much. I know that I tap into that help and guidance at times, for sure. But my work is more about really helping you to tune into your personal team, which a lot of people would call spirit guides. Like, that's fine. So I don't have a lot of knowledge about ascended masters. So what you guys are going to experience is that my approach is quite different than some other people out there that you might find on YouTube. And so I need to hold true to that and not start answering questions that are kind of outside of my experience and genius, so to speak. And I also think that if you're interested in a practical, direct approach without a whole lot of woo-woo and fluff, but you just want to connect and you just want to move forward with your life and really be fulfilled in your life purpose, then this is the channel for you. So, but you're going to start to see the more that you're in my world that it's a little bit different than some of that other stuff out there, because I just want to make it simple, practical, and direct, and not give you anything that's going to get you in your head about knowledge that's really not necessary. So that's just my approach. Not to say anything else is bad. If my approach doesn't resonate with people, that's fine. But I know that there is a really cool group of people that have been really searching for something that is more practical and real in the realm of spirituality. So if that's you, you're in the right place. So Jason said, I followed you already. I have gifts too since I was a kid, but not like a fortune teller. Yeah, of course. Beautiful. Green Bean X, do you use spiritual protection? I know you've mentioned in a YouTube video about psychic protection. A lot of stuff out there can interfere with connection, ego, etc. Yeah, so to me, the best spiritual protection is going to be the spiritual cleansing technique. And what that really does is it helps you to expand your energy so that you're not, it's not protection as in I need to shield myself. And to me, that's actually counterproductive, because then I'm on the defense. What instead is more like I am so expanded and so relaxed that if anything is not in my best interest, or it's maybe somewhat negative or confused, that's going to try to interfere with my energy, I'm so relaxed, I can perceive that and I can go, no. And I'm just going to not get involved with that. So it's a much more relaxed approach. And it's really increasing your discernment to the level of, I can feel that that's not in my best interest, so I'm not going to get involved in it. I think another part of spiritual protection, if you want to use that word, is being aware of my tendencies. Do I have a tendency, for example, to be overly giving to others? So where I'm doing more than my 50% because I feel sorry for them. That kind of a tendency can open me up to picking up on other people's energy that's actually not serving me. So it can sound selfish sometimes to people, but it's about knowing what's me and what's not me. And then when I feel really secure with that, I don't need to protect myself, because I just won't get involved with that energy. Or my vibration will be so relaxed and clear that energetically that kind of a vibration can't impact me anyway. Because when I'm high and they're low, lower souls can't go up. We can only go down to them. So when I'm lowering myself, then I could be susceptible to that. I do have some really great videos on my YouTube channel about discerning the difference between my angels and lower souls. And it is something that's important. It's important not to be fearful of, though. Alice, do you do any incense burning or other tips to get more into the intuition part? Nope, I don't. I don't think it's necessary. Because you are energy, right? You are intuition. You can't even change that. It's the reality of who you are. So there's nothing outside of you that's required. If it helps you, cool. Like, I love to light a candle sometimes, but I don't do that to heighten my intuition, because I know I have intuition anyway. I just do things like that to feel good with the environment, right? Makes sense, yeah. Asking the angels to shield with light or calm the ego. Again, I would just use slightly different words. I wouldn't use the word shield, because I don't need shielding. But I do, yes, use light to clean the environment, to make sure it's positive, that kind of a thing. Yeah, I like your eyes. Oh, you're sweet. All right, so I'm happy to answer any other questions, but I did have one more tip for you guys today on trusting your angels' messages, and that is to be more childlike in your communication. So did you have experiences as a child when you were very tuned in to energy? I remember one when I was 4 years old, and it's like a distant memory, almost to the point where I could think I was making it up, but I know that this really happened. So I grew up in New Zealand, and you know the dandelion seeds, you know, they're kind of that, you blow them and they spread out in the wind. When I was little, I used to call those fairies. And one day I'm playing by myself in the yard, and I decide to sing a song to the fairies, being my 4-year-old self. You know, I'm singing a little song. And I said, fairies, fairies, come into the yard. And I remember they just were, the yard was flooded with them. Like the air was thick with these dandelion seeds that I called fairies. And I even, in my 4-year-old self at the time, was like, wow, that is a lot. How did I do that? But that is the power of the energy that we have when we're little kids, because we don't talk ourselves out of it. We don't limit it. We just are. Around 7 years old, the brain shifts, and it's scientifically shown that logic moves in a different way when you're 7 years old. But prior to that, you're working more with pure sensitivity. And the key to this is that little kids, if you're around little kids, it helps too, just to see how they are. They don't talk themselves out of anything. They just like, oh, this is how I feel, go with it. Even if they're feeling frustrated or even if they're feeling angry, they will just feel it and they will let it out, right? There's no holding it back. So as far as this connects with talking to your angels, it's like if you get a message or a hunch or an idea, a little kid would go, oh, cool. You know, I'm going to make a castle, or I'm going to be a king, or I'm going to call in the fairies. And they're not in any logic of that's not possible. So this is to be more childlike now and perceiving what you're perceiving without that need to question it so much and analyze it. Be more like a little kid. Go with it. Right? Don't worry if you're making it up. If you're making it up, okay, that's your imagination. That's your psychic part. Okay? So just think about how a child would do it. All right, so that's my last tip for you. I hope that was helpful, you guys. If you have any other questions, now's the time to ask, because I'm going to hop off in a minute. But I will just give you guys one more invitation to join me next week. It's either Tuesday or Thursday for my free online class, How to Connect with Your Angels or Spirit Guides. If you would like to have a relationship with your guides in a simple, direct way, then you really don't want to miss that free class. And please invite your friends to join you. So the link to register is communicatewithangels.com/webinar. And I will answer any other questions before it's time to go. So Phil says, I have such a belief in the spiritual realm and connecting with spirits, but I've never experienced anything. Well, it's beautiful that you have a belief in it. And I do think that having experience is important because that validates it. I have a close friend now who actually doesn't believe in any of this stuff, which is very different for me. But what I shared with him is I'm not going by blind faith in my connection with angels and spirit. I'm going from experience. So that's something, right? But what I would say, Phil, is that you probably have experienced a lot. You're just not perceiving that that's what it is. It's often much more subtle than we realize. It could be the still small voice inside. It can be the aha moment, the little thought popping in your head all day long. So I'm guessing probably what you're doing is wanting it to be much more mystical, and I call it like the Big Bang. I want the Big Bang, so I really know it's angels. Show yourself to me, or bang me over the head with a hammer. I'm being silly. But it's usually not very loud, right? It's just very subtle. So maybe shift your expectation a little. Notice when you feel chills. Notice when you feel goosebumps. So Alice said that was a beautiful tip. If we are low on energy, like after a flu, is that because of our spirit body, or is it the other way around? And how can we heighten our energy when we feel low? I'm not sure how that relates to like having the flu or being sick, etc. But there's many things that can drag us down in life, and that's why I'm a real proponent of raising your vibration. And the best tool that I've discovered to do that is called spiritual cleansing. And so I do this cleansing technique several times throughout the day. Anytime I want to be more connected with my intuition and my guides, anytime I might feel tired or run down, or I need a little pick-me-up, I'm getting scattered, whatever. I'm getting triggered or annoyed by something, I cleanse. So if you guys want to learn the cleansing technique, I have that as a free video as well. It's communicatewithangels.com/cleansing. I'll type that in. Bill says, I wonder about numbers because I see triples all the time. Is that angels 333, 555, and so on? See, I knew you were getting messages from your angels already. Yeah, I see 111 like every day. I know some people see different numbers. I always interpret that like, what is it? It's not the number itself. It's like, what is it that's making me look at the clock right at that moment? It's probably that I'm tuning into a message from guidance. And I always take it as a sign that I'm in the right place at the right time, or a reminder from my angels that they want to connect with me and communicate with me, and reminder that I am spirit, because it's so easy to forget, right? So easy to get entrenched in the material and all the responsibilities of life, you know, getting my son ready for school in the morning. Like, it doesn't feel very spiritual sometimes. But so I'll see things like that and go, oh yeah, I'm spirit, I'm energy, my angels are with me all the time. Hi, Janet. And Phil says, LOL. 444, I've seen them on license plates. Yeah, same. All right, guys. Well, this was really fun. I definitely want to do more lives on here more often. If you watch the replay and you have any other questions or comments, please post them in. I would love to connect with you. One more question. Andrea, is it true that there are bad angels? I wouldn't call them angels, but I would say that there are confused souls. They are not bad or evil. They're just confused. And these are just souls who have been in a confused or negative state of consciousness when they had a body. So when you die, you don't suddenly shift your personality. You are energy and you stay as energy. So if a person has spent their entire lifetime being resentful or being angry or being confused, then they will still feel that way when they've passed on. And because that's kind of a lower vibration, they stay around planet Earth consciousness until they can let go of some of those attachments and move out to the universe. So that's a whole nother topic of conversation. But check out, I have a couple YouTube videos about, if you search for lower entities, you might find those. That's really helpful. Someone says, thank you. Dana will watch the replay. Okay. Hope to see you next time, Janet. Makes sense. Yeah. I'm glad, Andrea. Awesome, guys. All right. Well, I hope to see you all next week on the online class. And happy Friday. Have a great weekend. It was lovely to connect with you all. Bye for now.